More revelations come to light about the murder of Hollywood legend Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle. Thousands more files related to Jeffrey Epstein are released, and the White House unveils new plaques beneath the portraits of the Presidential Walk of Fame. I'm Georgia Howe with Daily Wire Executive Editor John Bickley. It's Friday, December 19th, and this is Evening Wire. New details have come to light regarding Nick Reiner, who allegedly murdered his parents, filmmaker Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle. According to a report from TMZ, Nick Reiner, who has been charged in the murder, had been diagnosed with schizophrenia and was undergoing a change in medication in the weeks leading up to the murders. Sources told the outlet that the adjustment reportedly worsened his condition, describing his behavior as increasingly erratic and dangerous. Authorities, however, have not publicly confirmed those details, as the case remains under investigation. Federal authorities say a homeless man played a crucial role in finding the Brown University and MIT shooter, and now they say he may be eligible for a $50,000 reward. The tipster, identified only as John, alerted the police after a strange encounter with the suspect and later shared key details online about the shooter's vehicle. That information helped investigators identify Claudio Neves Valente as the gunman in the two attacks that killed 3 people. Rhode Island's Attorney General said the tip blew the case wide open.
The Australian police officer who appears to have single-handedly taken down the terrorists in the Bondi Beach massacre has been identified, and he was already famous for appearing on a reality TV show. As the New York Post notes, Detective Senior Constable Cesar Cés Barraza has been hailed a hero after he was filmed hiding behind a tree and then opening fire on the 2 rifle-toting suspects from roughly 130 feet away during Sunday's massacre. Armed with only a handgun, it was his shots that are believed to have killed one of the Islamic terrorist shooters, Saeed Akram, and then injured his son, Naveed Akram.
The FBI says a postdoctoral researcher working in the U.S. on a visa has been charged with smuggling biological material into the country. FBI Director Kash Patel announced the man is accused of illegally importing E. coli from China and making false statements to federal authorities. Patel warned that improperly controlled biological materials could threaten U.S. agriculture and the economy. The case is the latest in a series of alleged biosmuggling incidents involving foreign researchers. Minnesota is currently paying a Somali man indicted for fraud to run assisted living homes. Daily Wire investigative reporter Luke Rosiak has the story.
A man awaiting trial for his alleged role in the nation's largest COVID scam is to this day billing the government millions for dubious services thanks to Minnesota pushing the definition of Medicaid well past traditional medical care. Gandhi Yusuf Muhammad, who's changed his name to Gandhi Abdi Kadiye, was indicted in the Feeding Our Future scandal, in which Somali nationals billed the government to provide millions of non-existent meals for the needy. Yet he is currently still operating multiple assisted living homes in which adults live and receive on-demand services at taxpayer expense. That's according to Minnesota lawmaker Kristen Robbins, a Republican who chairs the House Fraud Prevention and State Agency Oversight Policy Committee.
There is a Feeding Our Future defendant who is continuing to bill the state for assisted living services while awaiting trial in the Feeding Our Future scam. First, it is outrageous that the department is still allowing a Feeding Our Future fraudster who's been charged to still get state money of any kind. This person in the Feeding Our Future bubble was indicted and charged for $1.1 million in money laundering in the Feeding Our Future scandal. This same person was paid an additional $49 million for other state programs between 2019 and 2024.
A Minnesota Reformer article reports that the suspected fraudster donated the maximum permitted campaign contribution of $2,500 to Minnesota's Democrat Attorney General Keith Ellison.
In other fraud news, federal prosecutors in Massachusetts have charged 2 Haitian immigrants with orchestrating a nearly $7 million food stamp fraud operation. Daily Wire reporter Amanda Presser-Giacomo has more.
Federal authorities say the Haitian immigrants, one a naturalized American citizen and the other a lawful permanent resident, ran 2 tiny bodegas in Boston's Mattapan neighborhood that bore little resemblance to legitimate grocery stores. Despite sparse shelves and minimal foot traffic, one store alone redeemed up to $500,000 in SNAP benefits in a single month, levels consistent with major supermarkets, not neighborhood corner shops. Undercover investigators say the stores openly exchanged SNAP benefits for cash, skimmed profits through secondary bank accounts, and even sold liquor and overseas charity food packages meant for starving children abroad. All of that was paid for with taxpayer-funded benefits.
This episode is sponsored by the University of Austin, Texas. You know college is broken. Activist professors, seminars that feel like struggle sessions, $80,000 a year to hear Hamas chants on the quad while being told America is evil in class. So what's the alternative? It's called the University of Austin, or UATX. At UATX, students are in small seminars taught by great professors. They read the great books of Western civilization to learn from them, not tear them down. They build actual companies on campus with mentorship from a vast network of top entrepreneurs and investors. You can be openly Christian or Jewish without apology. And when you walk into the main atrium, there's a giant American flag. UATX admits students based purely on test scores, so the application takes just 5 minutes. Oh, and another thing. Tuition is completely free. Forever. It's funded by American patriots who want to create the Navy SEALs of the mind, not another generation of credentialed activists. To apply to the University of Austin, visit uaustin.org. That's UAUSTIN.org.
The U.S. approved an $11 billion arms sale to Taiwan, and now Beijing is responding in anger. The Pentagon, in a statement Wednesday, said that the arms sale is intended to help modernize Taiwan's armed forces and maintain credible defensive capability. The Chinese government, who still declares Taiwan to be their territory under an illegitimate rebel government, responded by saying Taiwan is squandering its people's hard-earned money to buy weapons and turning Taiwan into a powder keg. The U.S. sale includes 82 truck-based missile launchers, 60 howitzer artillery platforms, as well as anti-tank drones and other defensive arms. The U.S. has maintained ambiguity on the question of intervention if Beijing were to invade Taiwan.
New York Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul announced this week that she would sign a bill to legalize assisted suicide, and she's getting major blowback. Daily Wire senior editor Joel Needler has more.
Hochul's announcement comes after a coalition of Christian, conservative, and disability rights advocates urged her to veto the bill. But in an op-ed, Hochul said she's supposedly doing what the Founding Fathers would have wanted, writing, quote, 2.5 centuries ago, our Founding Fathers established a vision of a country based on limited government and broad individual rights that together protect rights of speech, worship, privacy, and bodily autonomy. Hochul's announcement was condemned by the New York State Republican Party, which blasted it as a profound moral failure. Chair Ed Cox said, quote, at a moment when New Yorkers are struggling with isolation and mental health crises, she's choosing to tell the most vulnerable among us that their lives are expendable. This is not compassion, it's abandonment. True leadership defends life, dignity, and hope, even when it's hard.
Ann Arbor, Michigan is removing all of their neighborhood watch signs. Daily Wire assistant editor Andy Valdez explains.
According to the all-Democrat Ann Arbor City Council, the signs reinforce, quote, suspicion, particularly toward Black, brown, and other marginalized residents and visitors. Councilwoman Cynthia Harrison invoked the case of Trayvon Martin, a Black teenager who was shot and killed in 2012. Martin was shot by George Zimmerman, who was a volunteer for his Neighborhood Watch program. Overall, crime in Ann Arbor is down compared to last year, except for the downtown area, where authorities have seen a 9% increase in total crime and an 11% jump in violent crime. About 600 signs will be removed this year.
Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis exploded on lawmakers during a grilling in front of a Georgia State Senate committee this week over her actions in her dismissed election interference case against Trump. According to the reports, Nathan Wade, the man who she appointed special prosecutor in the case while also having a romantic relationship with him, was paid $700,000 for the time he was on the case. Pressed on the issue, she sounded off.
You want something to investigate as a legislature? Investigate how many times they've called me the N-word. Why don't you investigate that? Why don't you investigate them writing on my house? If you want something to do with your time that makes sense, and you can use all this in your campaign ad, you attacked Fani Willis.
And the White House unveiled new plaques beneath the portraits of American presidents on its Presidential Walk of Fame this week. And some of the plaques include President Trump's personal jabs. Daily Wire reporter Zach Jewell has some highlights.
The Presidential Walk of Fame along the outside wall of the West Wing includes biographies for every U.S. president. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that Trump, quote, as a student of history, wrote some of the descriptions himself, and you can definitely tell with former presidents Biden and Obama. Instead of a photo of Biden, there's an image of an auto pen. The text beneath it reads, in part, Sleepy Joe Biden was by far the worst president in American history. Taking office as a result of the most corrupt election ever seen in the United States, Biden oversaw a series of unprecedented disasters that brought our nation to the brink of destruction. It ends with a typical Trump flourish. Quote, he left office issuing blanket pardons to radical Democrat criminals and thugs, as well as members of the Biden crime family. But despite it all, President Trump would get reelected in a landslide and save America, in all caps. As for the Obama plaque, among other things, it describes him as, quote, one of the most divisive political figures in American history, and slams his handling of foreign policy and Obamacare.
Those are your drive home updates this evening. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow morning with a weekend edition of Morning Wire.